Hello and welcome back to my RC channel. I'm Andy RC and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Full Speed Leader 2.5 inch edition. So previously on the channel I checked out the 3-inch model and this is their 2.5 inch version. So it's pretty much the same as the 3-inch except we've got a slightly smaller frame. We've got higher kV motors. They are still Full Speed's own brand and they are an 1106, but this time they are 7,500 kV to cope with the smaller blade. So with that kV being so high, this is going to be a 2 to 3S model only. The props are an interesting choice. So we've got a 4-blade and I believe they are a King Kong prop. They are a 2535. And I'd have thought they'd have gone with maybe the Gem Fan or even the Avan Rush, but they've probably done this to keep the price low. So this guy is going to be competing with the Babyhawk R and the Babyhawk R Pro, but it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, I think that's maybe why they have gone with this set of props, and I only received one set. What I will say about these props is they do bend quite easily. In fact, if you look at that one there, it has gotten bent, so a prop upgrade would probably be the first thing that I would do. Now it's got a nice weight. It comes in at 87 grams, which is around about correct for a 2.5 inch. They usually go from anywhere between 87 to 92 grams, so that's pretty nice. You can get it from the Full Speed website at the making of this video. I do think Banggood and retailers like that are going to be getting them. This is the non-canopy version, but you can also get it with the canopy as well. And we've got a buzzer on the back, we've got an LED board, we have got the same stack, so this is Full Speed's own stack, so it's 28 amp 4-in-1 BL Heli S ESCs. We have got a F4 flight controller with a built-in on-screen display, and then we have got their switching VTX, which goes up to 600 milliwatt, although I tested it with a power meter and it goes up to about 540 milliwatt, which is still not bad. One thing to note though is that when I checked the 25 milliwatt setting, it was actually only outputting 9 milliwatt, and on the 100 milliwatt setting it was only outputting 50 milliwatt. But you know what, it was absolutely fine. You know, if you go up a little bit higher than normal, then you won't have a problem. It's using a micro UFL connector. You do have to unlock the VTX to access those higher powers, otherwise it'll just stay at 25 milliwatt if you try and change it through the smart audio or the on-screen display. So you have to hold this button for 20 seconds or so to unlock it. Now I actually like how the antennas are mounted here, so we've got both of them this time on this standoff here. So we have got a linear antenna for the VTX, and then this is the antenna for the FR Sky receiver. It's a D8 receiver and it's got the RSSI coming off an AUX channel. Yeah, and I like how those are both up there. Of course, when you have the canopy here, it comes through here and here. I actually prefer this because it's more sort of out in the air sort of thing for better reception. And then the camera is a Cadex camera. It's the budget CMOS version, and same with the Leader 3. I think it's the weakest point of the package. What I will say to you is go and check out other people's reviews of this and see if you can see dirt on the camera lens, because I've seen that a lot anytime this cheap camera has been used. I think luckily actually there's none on this, but I think the reason why it gets dirt in there is we've just got some foam on here, and I think dirt can easily get in, and you don't want to use anything else other than an air duster to get the dirt off. Otherwise you're just going to smudge the sensor and make a load of mess, which is what I have done in the past. So you can adjust the camera angle. It came with a crazy camera angle out of the box. You do have to loosen these screws here because it's in there quite tight. Then you can put it pretty much at any angle that you like. One thing I do want to mention is you get this nice strap here, and of course it's a unibody. I've used this 3M silicon mat here because I didn't want it throwing a battery. The screws are recessed nicely, but they give you this Velcro here, and I don't like to put Velcro on my batteries. So the battery I'm going to be using, so you're not given a battery in the package, I'm going to be using these GMB 550 milliamp 3S batteries with the XT30 there. Probably a 650 milliamp would be the sweet spot, but I don't have any. As for the Betaflight setup, this was sent to me as an early version, so it did have some things in there like their rates, but it had stock PIDs, it didn't have anti-gravity, it didn't have air mode or dynamic filters. It did have a few modes in there, but yeah, it needed a full setup, but I'm told that when it goes out to customers it's going to have more of a setup. I tend to find with full speed, even though they do fly their models and they tune them, they mainly like to do racing and they don't do much freestyle, so I tend to find that you need to tweak the PIDs anyways, because they are usually more suited for racing than flying about freestyle, which is what I like to do. Alrighty, let's line of sight this guy. Really to just give an indication of what the punch is like, because my speed meter can't pick these little 2.5 inch models up, but let's see what the punch is like. Yeah, not bad. Very similar to the Baby Hawk R Pro, I would say. I think that one's just got a little bit more punch than this one, but yeah, very close. Let's see what the acro is like. So this is the tune that full speed has given me. Did just have stock PIDs on there out of the box. It feels just okay, I would say. I think it needs a bit of work. Of course, everybody is different when it comes to their favourite PIDs. It feels just tiny bit loose for me. Yeah, feeling a couple of dips and things when doing these loops, which some people like because it gives, you know, the video feed some flow. But to me, sometimes when a tune feels a little bit loose, it feels a little bit out of control sometimes, and I like to be in control. Let's have a listen what it sounds like. Yeah, it definitely zings, this thing, and gets away fast, so to be careful. But yeah, it does fly, and we're about to get a storm here apparently, so to get the flights in before that turns up. I mean, it's pretty windy here today, but not too bad. But yeah, so far so good. What I'm just gonna do is, I sometimes forget this, but let's flick it back into angle mode, see if we've got any drift. Nah, absolutely none. Bring it in for a landing. Alrighty, so let's take a look at some DVR footage, and yeah, very similar results from the Leader 3. Actually, it's just this one's a little bit light, and as we have the higher KV motors, it performs better on 3S. Of course, there's a little bit of an issue with the Leader 3 on 4S, and motors were smoking. I think they've replaced all of those motors now for customers. They've sent me a new set of those motors anyways. But yeah, when you compare this guy to the competitors, which I would say with this one is the Baby Hawk R Pro, this one at the making of this video costs $128, that is the one without the canopy, and the Baby Hawk R Pro is about $173, so quite a big price difference there. And with the Leader, you're getting a 500 milliwatt VTX, whereas with the Baby Hawk R, as I have a crash there, the Baby Hawk R Pro, just 200 milliwatts. I do think the Baby Hawk R Pro has a better camera. That's something that I've always said about this one. You know, it's a very cheap CMOS camera, and the Baby Hawk R has got the Cadex, but it's the S1 CCD camera, so I think it's slightly better quality. But you know, it works, and I think really it's the only thing that I would swap out with this one. And something that is rare with a budget model is that Full Speed has very good customer service, and if you have a problem with anything, then they will sort you out, you know, so that's a good reason to go with these guys as well. But yeah, it's a really quick model. I'd probably switch the props out. I'd probably go for those Avan Rush props as I clip the tree again. Yeah, very windy day here today. Yeah, you can see on the camera it's just struggling a little bit with dynamic range, but it's good enough, I would say. Yeah, and those props, they did bend really easily. But other than that, yeah, really nice package, I have to say. So you might have just seen that I went to the other edge of the field and I started to lose video signal, and as I said earlier, I did test the performance of this VTX on my power meter, and at 25 milliwatt it was showing more like 9 milliwatt, but it was fine for this field. So I got just short of a 3-minute flight time with this 550 milliamp 3S battery. It's on its last legs, so I will come in for a landing, and I'll put a link in the description if you wish to get one. And as always, thanks so much for watching. Please continue to subscribe. Cheers.